I have visited the Outer Banks of North Carolina 3 times and I loved every minute of it. I visited in the late 70s and early 80s on family vacations and again in the early 90s with Tiger Barb. I couldn't wait to go again. But this visit will be my last because I thought it sucked. Continue watching and find out why. Hello friends, Tiger Coward here. Welcome to days 10 through 13 on the Tail of the Dragon tour. This portion of the trip began with a pleasant ride through Southern Virginia today. We left Willville at 9 o'clock, sans muzzy, in a warm and sunny 17-degree morning. We carved our way out of the Appalachian Mountains on a spectacular portion of Highway 40. I am convinced that Virginia should change its motto to Virginia was made for motorcycle lovers. We continued on Highway 40 all the way across the state. It was absolutely wonderful. We transitioned from exhilarating canyon curves to rolling countryside and then through forests that shaded us from the 28-degree sunshine.
Swept hills, Arizona plains. I worship at the altar of a parlor game.
Highway 40 is the slow route that connects the rural villages, college towns, and small cities. We rode through main streets of some of the most absolutely beautiful, thriving towns and also through some depressed and dreary ones. Today was a true tour through the heart of America.
And I ain't no prodigal son. Even if it kills me, I'm gonna find a way out of here. Even if it kills me and my faith is turning into fear. Even if it kills me, kills me, kills me, kills me. I try to keep my spirits up,
Spike booked us a campsite at Merchants Mill State Campground in North Carolina. We got set up and turned on Spike's phone to watch the Leafs game. The Weather Network is calling for thunderstorms to start at 8 o'clock, so we set up a tarp to sit under, which is likely to ensure that we won't get rain. Well, the Leafs lost, and it rained. That's not how Sundays are supposed to go. Our campsite was drenched on day 11, and what wasn't wet from the rain was damp from the air. We stopped in the charming Elizabeth City for breakfast and then headed to the Outer Banks. I have visited the Outer Banks 3 times in the past. Twice with my parents in the 70s and 80s, and once with Tiger Barb in the early 90s. These are some of my all-time favorite vacation memories. The quirky boutiques, restaurants, motels, and campsites that dotted the vast beaches were fantastic. But that's all gone now. Kitty Hawk and Nag's Head resemble any American suburb. Strip malls line the highway and we're sandwiched between Home Depot and Lowe's. The beachfront is lined with massive timeshare and rental properties, and there's no charm to be found. I'm not against modernization, but that's not what we have here. It's not even gentrification. We have charm replaced by boring and ugly. I was quite saddened by what I experienced in this, my last trip to the Outer Banks. I'm sure the current state is more commercially viable and attracts many more tourists than in the past, but it's not for me. Things just don't taste like they used to. We stopped at Dairy Queen to cheer me up. Turns out the Peanut Buster Parfait is $4 more expensive here. Man, Outer Banks, you even ruined Dairy Queen. So Spike and I changed plans from hanging in Nag's Head for a few days and headed south. We took North Carolina 12 to Cape Hatteras and then the ferry to Ocracoke Island and camped in the national park. The ride is a bit interesting because you ride between dunes with ocean on both sides, but truthfully I found it boring. Check out Leah Riak and her Got to Go YouTube channel for a happier review. I love everything else she does, but not this time.
Changed too many times to try and change again. I've changed too many times, and I won't be changing again. And I won't be changing again. I drew a line down in the dirt to leave behind all the pain and hurt, all the times.
My view of the Outerbanks may have been obscured by the smoke of nostalgia, so we went for a walk on the beach and I was revitalized by the dunes and the waves. Later we had dinner at an overpriced tourist trap restaurant, but at least the seafood was fresh. Eventually, we headed back to the campsite to listen to the purr of the massive RVs running their generators as their masters hid from the natural beauty and the soothing melody of the sea. Fortunately, the RVs are rule-following beasts and stop their roar at 10 o'clock for quiet hours. We woke up to brilliant sunshine and it was 20 degrees at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is also when the RV's generators started up in an attempt to drown out the barking dogs tied up to their front steps. It was such a beautiful day that we decided to go for a swim. I love being in the ocean. It's the one unspoiled part of the Outerbanks. After a while, we headed back to the campsite to complete our packing and then rode into Ocracoke. We parked the bikes in the ferry terminal and headed to a pierside restaurant for a nice yet overpriced lunch. We both had the daily special of crab cakes and hush puppies. Hush puppies? Yup, you'll have to Google it, but they were great. Finally, we boarded the ferry for a 2.5-hour trip to Cedar Island. It was uneventful until we were almost in the harbor. Then two things happened. First, we saw some dolphins swimming off the port side of the ferry. So cool. Second, it started to rain.
I've paid my dad's kiss, the love I left, and I know that I can't be saved. Maybe I'm just depraved, cursed to make the same mistakes. Ride across these plains that the past in flames and take what's left to the grave.
We disembarked and immediately ducked under an awning of a motel and put on our rain suits. We rode for about 3 minutes and the rain stopped. It was 29 degrees, so we had to pull over and take off our rain gear again. LOL. We rode through a national bird sanctuary towards our ultimate destination, the Croatan National Forest. As we reached the town of Beaufort, the sky looked very threatening. So we stopped to look at the weather radar and make a plan. A local guy who worked at the nearby marina told us there was a severe thunderstorm coming our way and we should take cover. He said there were reports of trees down and damaging hail from this storm. We decided not to continue to the campground, and instead we found a 2-star motel not far away. We got there just as the skies opened up with the torrential rain. Thanks for looking out for us, local guy. "13 wasn't unlucky, but it wasn't really notable either. Our plan is to head west, across North Carolina, and eventually get back to the Great Smoky Mountains. We hope to play there for a few days before heading back north. Most of the ride on day 13 was nice on nice roads across nice countryside. It was just nice.
desperado, sitting in an old Monte Carlo, a man whose heart is hollow. Oh, take it easy, I'm not trying to go against you, actually I'm going with you. Gotta get up out of here and you ain't leaving me behind. I know you won't, cause we share common interests. You need me, there ain't no leaving me behind. Never know, no, I just want out of here. Yeah, once I'm gone, ain't no going back. If you want, we could be runaways, running from any side of love. Yeah.
Eventually, we worked our way to the Yohari National Forest and got a great campsite at the Baden Lake Campground. We grilled hot dogs and beans over the fire, simply the best. Tonight, we sat by the fire, watched the hockey game, and hoped the Leafs would start a miraculous comeback against the Florida Panthers. I love you all. Good night from the Yohari National Forest. Go forth with an open mind, and most importantly, an open heart. And remember, self-care is not selfish.
Common interests, you need me, there ain't no leaving me behind. Never know.